It just doesn't matter. Just talk to each other. Tell everybody what your name is.
Hello, my name's Luke Dahlman.
There you go. Now you can. There's a couple.
I'm Nathan Smith.
All right. In case you're wanting to know, this is the first day of this, and in case you're wanting to know why we kind of made a makeshift, this is what I've been promising everybody. We're going to start interviewing military guys, just fun guys that are down to earth. I know a lot of you guys are seeing this on this camera here, making sure everything's okay, and on Facebook over here. Now I've got a couple other cameras going on so that I can, later on when I put all this stuff together for their stories, that we can get it all together. So, anyway, my name is Jeffrey Jansen, everybody. I know right now the camera is completely on these two gentlemen. They were in the Marine Corps. We got another gentleman coming here by the name of Glenn Chandler. Glenn Chandler is actually in the Army Reserve. Well, he'll be here about 1. And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of interview everybody and kind of talk about the military a little bit and what things that we've done and things that we hope that, you know, when we were in that would come to fruition. Okay, give me just a second and we're going to start. Maybe. My cameras don't always like me. Okay. No, come on. Get off there. Alright, so faces on these two, and then later on I'll go home and edit everything later, but right now you're live on Facebook and you're live on America's Funniest Home Video. No. You're live on that. So I'm going to sit down here with them. Alright, and I think we got everybody going. Alright, so hopefully I can't see nothing because I don't have anything turned towards me. What we're trying to do is, and it will not be this clustered right now for a while, just right now. I want to make sure that stays on because that's actually operating that one. So what we're trying to do is show everybody that military, when we're out, the different things that we look forward to, different things that we expected while we were in the military. Okay, let's use this one. Yeah, we gotta try to do something here. All right. So anyway, everybody's always wondering how important the military was to them, and I've been noticing this is not a political channel by any means. There's no politics involved. However, people can ask their questions, and then I'm going to go back, and we're going to interview a couple Army guys, interview a couple other people. We have to put microphones on, that's fine. But right now, the whole idea of this is to just get a viewpoint of when people were in the military, what they did when they're in, when they got out, what their expectations were, what they're seeing now. And it's like I said, I understand that this is probably going to go no farther than my community. And we already know that, yeah, everybody calls, but we all know that we're local heroes and, you know, we love being called that, whatever. Actually, the truth of the matter is we don't like being called heroes because the ones that call us heroes are the ones that usually want something. They're the ones that are trying to use the military as a political propaganda. They're like, oh, I love those vets, and then they do nothing in return. There's a lot of vets that come home that have PTSD. Of course, then all the major vehicles come by where you can't hear them. And there's a lot of guys that they never returned home all the way. Vietnam, World War II. But today, all I'm going to just show you is what we do and why when we get around everybody. Seriously, does it have to be loud the time that I'm trying to do something? Leave it to some, anyway. So the whole point of this is just to get a different perspective on the military and what we do when we get out and why it's a good idea to try to get your college and why it's a good idea to just do your best at everything you do. And while we're talking, I'm going to ask some questions. And like I said, this is the pilot for this. So if it looks like I don't know what I'm doing, well, you already know I don't know what I'm doing. But I want everybody to know that no matter what, there's always a place you go. So first off, we've got Luke Dahlman. He is from Quincy, Illinois. He's probably one of my oldest friends. I used to go to church with him and his family years and years ago. And then one of my newer friends, Marine Corps, he was in the Marine Corps and everything else. And what we're going to do is we're just going to talk. And we're going to kind of throw things back at each other, ask different questions when things pop into our heads. There's nothing scripted about anything we're doing. But to me it matters, and this comes from one of my oldest friends, Dr. McGinley. He interviewed everybody from World War II. And before he died, he got a chance to meet the last guy with the red line. And if y'all don't know what the red line is, it was Patton's supply chain during World War II. As Patton was going through Africa, he was moving faster than his supply chain. And when Patton goes, he sent a letter back, and they're like, "Hey, you got to slow down. We can't keep up with you. You know, we can't get food and stuff to these guys." Patton said, "Look, you just need." In a letter he wrote, he said, "Look, you need to send gas and bullets. The men can eat their belts," because he had to keep moving because he had a tactical advantage of surprise. Now, Dr. McGinley was never in the military, but he interviewed all these guys, and he found out that that was one of the most strategic things that happened in World War II in order to win against the Germans. However, he never would have known that if his neighbor didn't come by and say, "Hey, how come you never interviewed me?" So, being was what we do, we have a lot of guys out here at the Veterans Home, a lot of women, we have people in the Marine Corps leagues, we have guys that are in, we have guys that are getting out, and their story has never been told except to each other. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk to each other, and I'm going to have each person introduce themselves so that I can go back and I can edit this and I can put their names and where they're from. And we're going to start with Luke. And Luke, if you just tell whichever one of these two you want, your full name, what branches you were in, just kind of a little bit what you did while you're in and stuff. And then Nathan, after he's done, I want you to introduce yourself and do the exact same thing.
Well, my name's Luke Dahlman. I'm from Quincy, Illinois here. 59 years old. Joined the Marine Corps in 1978. Served 6.5 years. And got out, come back home here. Tried to start a family. And decided to go back in the military. Couldn't get back in the Corps, so I went in the Navy for 14 years and retired in 1999.
What about you, buddy? Tell your full name, where you're from. You're going to have to say where you're from because you're not from here.
Yeah. My name's Nathan Smith, and I'm actually from Redmond, Oregon. I joined the Marine Corps when I was 17. I was in for 4 years, got out, moved to Quincy, so a girl and a job. I have neither now. That's all right.
Neither a girl nor a job?
Well, I have a job now, but the ones I had that were my prospects when I got out.
Should we go funny with why you say you don't have a girl? No, I'm just kidding. It's not like that. Swing! Anyway.
I've been in Quincy for 2-3 years now. I'm good friends with Jeff. I've worked various jobs, and now I'm a bartender at one of the local.
All right. And of course, my name is Jeffrey Jansen. A lot of y'all know me. The whole point of me, we're not going to ask about DD-214s. We're not going to ask about AMP. We are going to joke around about different things that we did in the military. All the kind of funny things. You know, kind of like sneaking in the Coliseum over in... So, Luke, what did you all do when you were in? And like I said, you know, how many guys were with you when you first got in? Did you go in right out of high school?
Yes, one in... Yeah, sorry about that.
I know, right?
Left at... wound up having to go all the way to Springfield, take a train down to St. Louis because the recruiter was late getting into Quincy.
Yep.
Then training school at Camp Pendleton, and went over to did my time over there. Went
in. What was the very first thing you did when you first got in? Do you still remember your boot camp days and where you went to boot camp?
I went to MCRD in San Diego.
How was that? Did you get yelled at?
Yeah, got yelled at. I got to see the gold footprints where JFK stood.
JFK stood on the footprints?
The footprints, they painted gold for where he stood at in where they have the platoons form up. Didn't have to spend any time in the Quonset huts that they had from Vietnam era. They still had a few there when I was sitting there in '78. The obstacle course wasn't as extensive as it is now.
Did they have?
Oh yeah. Airport lights from the airport was on all night long. You hear jets coming in and out.
So what do you think anything was different from boot camp then today than it is today? Just boot camp. You know?
Oh yeah.
Do you think it's different, or do you think it's still the same? You get in, you get yelled at, you go to the fleet.
Well, they get yelled at, but they don't get yelled at the way they used to.
Really?
Well, before, even up through my time, they could still get in your face. They can get right up close to you. They weren't supposed to touch you, but there was times where you got touched.
Did anybody die when they went through boot camp with you?
No.
In other words, boot camp is more of a stress.
It's supposed to create stress to get you ready for combat.
You guys do Mount Sarabachi?
We did all.
Where they dump your footlockers out in the middle of the floor and basically strip you down naked, tell you to take your mattress, go into the head, and then sit there and they get yelled at 24/7. So you're naked inside of a head. A lot of people look at that like, oh, that's just gross, but it was actually to teach you to be able to think without anything on, be able to.
Yeah, that happened a couple times.
We forget about that. Did you guys have, what was that stuff? What was that? Aftershave we cleaned with and we put on Bulldog. Did you guys have Bulldog back then?
No.
Did you guys have Listerine back then, or were they dumping it everywhere?
Yeah, they had Listerine, and then
anybody try to get drunk off in the middle of the night?
I'm sure that guy was. We had a few guys. We had the
only the Marines get drunk off Listerine.
the cans of brass cleaner that was well, not the brass. But we had the cans with the cloth that was all shredded up. You do that, clean your brass with that. We had guys that would try to chew that to get the alcohol out of it. They'd get sick. Yeah.
Let's compare this a little bit. Nate, where'd you go to boot camp at?
MCRD, San Diego.
But you're from Oregon, right?
Yeah.
So how far away from that is where you live?
Probably driving, probably a 15-hour drive.
Wow. So let's see here. When you went there, what was your experience like when you first got there and everything else? I'm trying to compare these two here, trying to show people it's really not much different other than age. In fact, I think we're still using the same stuff they did during World War I.
Yeah.
Marines always get the leftover stuff after it's been around for a while.
Very, very similar experience. They are a little more strict on hazing, but they're just a lot more under the table about it now. Like back in the day, they used to be a lot more open. Now it's just a little more quiet. But still getting in your face, still yell at you, still running you into the ground every single day. What's the quarterdeck do?
Oh yeah, the quarterdeck. I forgot about
quarterdeck. Whole 9 yards. So still the same experience.
You guys all had the same, because like when we were there was only one chow hall, but it had 4 sides to it. And you picked the side you went in. I think the chow hall is still there.
Yeah.
We didn't get yelled too much in the chow as long as we stayed quiet. But if you did step out of place, you had a bunch of drill instructors at you freaking yelling at you. I do remember that. I'm like,
first phase, you were there to get in, eat, get out. Once you advanced, got further, second, third, fourth phase, you got a little bit more time to eat. But the first phase you were in and out.
Now, when you were you said that you then joined the Navy after the Marine Corps.
Right.
Did you have to go through another boot camp or anything, or what did you have to do to train to get back in there? Did they look at you a little differently, or how'd that work?
I was supposed to go through what the Navy called the time 3 weeks up at Great Lakes, going through training, getting some indoctrination in naval history, uniforms, what the Navy does, how to be a sailor, and then I would go to my A school. Well, then when I got to Great Lakes, I found out that a yeoman down in St. Louis had said that they had changed my paperwork, saying I was going through boot camp. And
for anybody that doesn't know what the Great Lakes means, that's up in Chicago, Lake Michigan. No.
Great Lakes Naval Training.
Yeah, Lake Michigan.
Yeah,
Lake Michigan. That's where the Navy has their CV trainings and stuff like that. That's their only. I think that's their only boot camp.
Hospital formula.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the only boot camp.
Right. It's the closest Navy Fed we got. Anyway.
Yeah.
Just in case you want to know what Great Lakes is, that is up in the Illinois area. That's up in northern Illinois.
So, I was. They messed up my paperwork, and I had to spend the 3 months going through.
When you first went in, were you married when you went into the Marine Corps?
No.
Okay.
I wasn't
When
married.
did you meet Mindy? I know that sounds weird. He has got a beautiful wife by the name of Mindy Dolman who helps out with some military stuff and everything else. The reason why I'm asking that is because when I went in, and I think even with Nathan, we had some guys that were married going in.
Yeah, we had a couple.
When they came out.
And now, when you went to the Navy, though, you were married.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay.
I met her after I came back after my first tour overseas by myself in Okinawa. Came home, and girlfriend I had been with in high school, we broke up, and I literally,
You beat him up.
my wife literally ran into me.
I beat you up.
She was working at the library here in Quincy, and she thought it was my brother coming to pick my dad up because he was working down there as a janitor, and she seen the car pull in, thought it was my brother, come running out the children's department, which was downstairs, and literally ran into me in the doorway and realized it wasn't my brother.
Ah.
Oh.
And at this time, you were in the transition from the Marines to the Navy, or did
No.
you already join the Navy at that time?
No, this was
Still in the Marine Corps.
This was coming back from Okinawa.
Okay, Okinawa. For anybody who wants to know, Okinawa, we have the Marines have several bases. Alright, sorry about that. Alright. Oh. I really got to do something different about this one.
Wow.
I know, right? I can't help it. I know. So, you were in Okinawa. Nathan, let's go back. Let's transition over to you for a second.
All right.
So, when you went in, let me ask you this. Why? I mean, really, why did you... I don't know much about your personal child life. I probably don't want to know. Because you scare me. But why the Marine Corps?
I feel like I share a similar story to a lot of people my age. Like I was in third grade when I saw World Trade Center, and at that point, I
Was that
was
the
like,
first time? Yeah, that was the first time. Wasn't it? When the first time the World Trade Center, or was it 9/11?
9/11.
It was 9/11.
Oh my God, now I feel old.
Yeah,
I was in the Marine Corps during 9/11.
I
You were
know.
deployed out on the 24th MEU, Marine Expeditionary Unit.
I know.
Wow.
I know.
I forgot you're that young.
Yeah, 26.
Crap.
Well, I was in third grade, and I decided I was like, okay, well, I want to fight. I want to be in the military. And soon after that, I saw Marine Corps commercials. And I mean, from like third grade, I wanted to join the Marine Corps. That's why I went in.
Now, what commercial was it? Was it the Knight in Shining Armor, the one that kept having the night one, or was it a different one?
Oh, I don't remember. Just had to do with blues and kicking ass. So I was like, yeah, this looks awesome. I'm gonna join the military. Why not go in the best? So.
Wow.
So
Did
that
you
was-
like it? Did you deploy?
They're desperately tried to. Just wrong place, wrong time.
You never deployed.
I never got a chance to.
What was your MOS?
I was a 2841 radio technician.
Whenever we ask anybody what their MOS is, for anybody that's non-military or a different branch, the MOS specifies your schooling, what you did, what your profession was in the military. Some people hold a couple of them. I know Jesus has 2 or 3 because he was a radio operator and he was an 0811 and a 25.
Yeah, I cross-trained the radio operator.
Right.
So I spent a lot of time with those guys.
Would you guys
But-
believe when I was in with Panama, when I was stationed down in Panama, one of the guys, and I didn't even realize this, they literally, one of the guys that was in with me, he went in like 2 years before me, right? They just got rid of Morse code. They literally just put a cease to ever teaching it again. I was like, they were still teaching it all the way up till 1999, 2000, when I was down in Panama. And one of the guys like, oh man, I just went through this entire